name is Cole Aller, and I'm here with Zach Hilbachuk and Britta Phelan, and we are here with CBZS News. And first off, we're going to go to Sharissa. She's back there with the USSR.
Hi, my name is Sharissa. I'm doing the USSR Revolution. Here in 1917, during the Russian Revolution, most Russians had lost faith in the leadership ability of Tsar Nicholas II. Government corruption was rampant. The Russian economy remained backward, and Nicholas repeatedly dissolved the Duma, the Russian parliament established after the 1905 revolution when it opposed his will. Meanwhile, the economy was hopelessly disturbed by the post-war effort, and Moderate joined Russian radical elements in calling for the overthrow of Tsar. And I'm going to go to Stalin's rise to power. In 1912, Lenin, then in exile in Switzerland, appointed Joseph Stalin to serve on the first Central Committee of the Bolshevik Party. The Soviet Union was founded in 1922, with Lenin as its first leader. During these years, Stalin had continued to move up the party ladder. And in 1922, he became Secretary General of the Central Committee of the Communist Party, a role that enabled him to appoint his allies to the government jobs, had grown a base of political support. Many cities were renamed in his honor. Stalin ruled by terror with a totalitarian grip in order to eliminate anyone who opposed him. Great Persian galleys. The Great Purge was also known in the Soviet Union, was made up by persecuting campaigns made in the 1930s by leader in the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin. These campaigns are made to purge or to cleanse the Soviet Union, and the Communist Party and government had been put in place, known to those in Europe as the Great Purge. The Great Purge involved police surveillance, suspicions of sabotage, people being put into prison, and many being killed. Many were made because people suspected that there were cases of sabotage and then I'm going to tell you about Khrushchev denounced Stalin. For 30 years, Joseph Stalin had ruled the Soviet Union unchallenged less than 3 years after his death. New Soviet Premier Nikita shocked the 20th Communist Party Congress with a long, angry speech that denounced Stalin. And then now I'm going to go to Cuba and Cuba.
My name is Michaela Nivra, and I have the Cuban Missile Crisis. The first event was the Bay of Pigs, which happened on April 17, 1961. This was the plan for the United States to invade Cuba. CIA trained Cuban exiles to invade their own country. The CIA promised a bad invasion on Cuba of winning to the President Kennedy. He did not let any of soldiers joined in this invasion. Around 6 American soldiers dressed in Cuban colors and got on the plane to Cuba to help attack. Only 3 of the Cuban planes were destroyed and 7 civilians were killed. Castro pronounced this war socialist. 1,500 exiles arrived at the Bay of Pigs. They were happy to arrive back at their home, help freedom become Cuba. Cuba mobilized all of its forces thinking it was a pro-American attack. Within 72 hours, exiles were either captured or dead. The 2 people there were Kennedy and Khrushchev, which happened on June 4th, 1961. Kennedy apologized to Khrushchev for attacking his country, and it brought the 2 superpowers to a brink of war. The missile locations were in Cuba, or Russia had their missile location in Cuba. The missile locations in America were in Greece and Turkey. Castro established the first communist state and now is a communist leader of Cuba, and his people tried to overthrow him and his government. The U.S. blockade happened October 22nd, 1961. Kennedy put a blockade on Cuba because Cuba had a nuclear weapon on Cuba, and he was trying to block any weapon imports to Castro's state. Kennedy also threatened to retaliate against them if there was a nuclear attack from Cuba. Now we'll go to Cole and Williams from here.
Alright, thank you for that, Michaela. And now we'll go right over here to Britta, who is going to do a little follow-up on the Cuban Missile Crisis.
The 13-day political and military standoff over the installation of nuclear-armed Soviet missiles on Cuba of October 1962 has come to an end. Fidel Castro came to power in 1959 after he overthrew the Cuban dictator in an armed revolt. The U.S. tried to overthrow him in the Bay of Pigs invasion. On April 17, 1961, the Cuban exile force, known as Brigade 2506, landed at beaches along the Bay of Pigs and immediately came under heavy fire. Cuban planes destroyed half of the exiles' air support, and bad weather hampered the ground force, which made them have to work with soggy equipment and insufficient ammo. The U.S. wanted a non-communist government friendly to them, and that would not happen with Fidel Castro as leader. The U.S. had placed missiles inside of Italy and Turkey aimed at Moscow. In May 1962, Nikita Khrushchev proposed the idea of placing Soviet missiles in Cuba to deter any future invasion attempt. Khrushchev and Castro made a secret agreement to construct missile sites. After Kennedy found out about these nuclear missile sites found by a U-2 spy plane, he decided to enact a naval blockade or ring of ships around Cuba and made it clear that the U.S. was prepared to use military force if necessary. President Kennedy then made an agreement with Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev to remove the Cuban missiles if the U.S. promised not to invade Cuba. Thank you for listening today, and after this short commercial break, we'll be in Vietnam with Zach Hilbachuk.
Hey, George, you want to Mountain Dew?
Sure, kid. Great. Alright, well, we're back from that commercial break, and now we will go into Zach in Vietnam.
Welcome back. And recently, a new program has been launched called the Tet Offensive. More than 70,000 North Vietnamese are a big part of it. If you didn't know, the word Tet comes in New Year's celebration in Vietnam. What the Tet Offensive really is basically this North Vietnamese rebelling against the South. Luckily, the South and South Vietnamese forces managed to avoid the communist attack. The U.S. was pretty shocked when they found out about this dodge. In the picture behind you can see Vietnamese soldiers marching for a rebellion. The involvement against the U.S. in the Vietnam War began to the South among peace activists. The U.S. began bombing North Vietnam in earnest. This began anti-war protests essentially organized by the SDS, which stands for Students for a Democratic Society. Critics began to question the government's assertion that it was fighting for a democratic war. Also, Vietnamization was a plan created by the U.S. President Nixon. This is the end involvement of America with the Vietnam War. What they do is to transfer all military responsibilities in South Vietnam. This created divisions in American society. That is all we have today, but now back to Cole with Korea.
Alright, today our topic is the Korean War. As you know, last week the North invaded the South over the Korean border. It was the reason the war started is because North Korea believed in communism and South Korea was democratic. So when they ran over the border, they sent a lot of troops over to try to make South a communist country. Now, when they were over there, Russia and China were over and have decided to go help North Korea because Russia and China are also communist countries. So then when the South started needing help, so then first it was America that just joined, and then the UN came and they helped back up America, and the world was scared of this war because this was the Cold War, and they thought this was going to be the start of World War III. And the two sides, North Korea and South Korea, made peace, and then this created the 38th parallel. And as you can see behind me right here, we are standing on the south side of the 38th parallel. This little brick thing, this is the border. This side is south and the other side is north. And we can tell this is the south because these are American soldiers. And we are also standing on the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone, and that is also why none of them soldiers have weapons. And yesterday, President Harry S. Truman relieved George Douglas MacArthur of command of the U.S. forces in Korea, and the reason for this is MacArthur wanted to go and invade China for helping North Korea. So and Truman wanted to keep this Korean War a limited war, and he wanted to keep it really small. And yeah, that is all we have time for today. And thank you for watching CBZS News. See you next time.